Well, all the items in this room relate to the early years of the RCN and really take the story up to the end of the Great War. In this case, we've got a photo here of two submarines, CC1 and CC2. At the outbreak of war, there was a bit of a panic on the West Coast because there was this German squadron perceived to be loose on the Pacific, and the only warship here was Rainbow, and it was known that there were two submarines being completed in Seattle for the Chilean Navy, and for technical reasons, the Chileans were not happy with these submarines and had refused to accept them. So it's said that this idea was negotiated over cigars in the Union Club, but it was a bunch of local people decided that it would be a good idea to buy these submarines for Canada. And British Columbia, the Premier, McBride, in fact, put the money up. So BC bought these submarines for Canada. They were brought across. It was all done in a hurry so that the American authorities wouldn't start asking too many questions. As it happened, there were several officers with submarine experience in the Royal Navy out here at the time, and they were involved. In one of them, these submarines came and anchored off or sat off the Victoria Harbor, and these submarine officers went through the boats and decided they were capable, and so they came into Canadian service as CC1 and CC2. They were here for 2 or 3 years, and then they were taken around to Halifax. By that time, I think the original idea was that they might go across the Atlantic or serve there, but by that time they were considered no longer useful for the war at the time. I think there was not a requirement for more British submarines. But the interesting thing is that BC had these submarines. Canada manned them up using a nucleus of Royal Navy vets and training up some of our own people, and they went around to the Atlantic. We've talked about Rainbow. This is a bell that says, you can see it says HMCS Rainbow 1968. Well, how come? Well, in fact, Canada acquired two submarines in the 60s, secondhand submarines from the Americans, and one of them was given the name Rainbow, and so the submarine Rainbow perpetuated the name of the West Coast cruiser. The other items here are there's a couple these little slightly kitschish little life rings with the names of Niobe and Rainbow, the two cruisers. There's an inkstand here used by the captain of Shearwater. We've just talked about Shearwater. This, in fact, was a later HMS Shearwater, which became HMCS Shearwater, which served on this coast. And there's an item here relating to Admiral Kingsmill, who was a Canadian serving in the Royal Navy, who was brought over to become the professional head of the Royal Canadian Navy when that was established.